Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Shoreview. Hello, Plymouth. Hello, Chanhassen. And the prairie of the Eden. Good morning and welcome to the Jason Show live. We are live on this Thursday. No, Wednesday. It's Wednesday today. Yeah. It's a Wednesday to me that actually feels like a Thursday, or at least maybe I want it to be a Thursday. I'm Jace. Thank you so much for being here. Cue the Sheila Oliver fake applause because it's our good friend Kendall right over there. Good morning, Kendall.
Hello, Jason. Good morning.
Yes, it is Wednesday, July 22nd.
It is.
July is just, and I don't want to end up on one of those John Oliver montages where the news anchors, everyone goes, can you believe how quickly the summer's flying? I don't want to end up on that montage, but I will say, though, this summer is going fast, and I think because everything's just weird. We don't have benchmarks like we normally do. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, totally. So today is my third wedding anniversary.
I was getting to that. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. But what's so funny about what you just said is that my husband and I looked at each other like 2 days ago. I think someone else brought it up to us, and we were both like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's happening because it is such a weird year.
There's no tent poles. Like, 4th of July was odd, except for the neighbors that let off fireworks, I think like $75,000 worth of fireworks. But anyway, and then the state fair isn't going to happen. But we did, speaking of the fair, we got some news today that they're going to do a drive-through food parade. The fake audience enjoys that. So you pay, and this is, if you want specifics, go to the State Fair website, but you pay $20 or so per car. You can have 5 people, and then you drive through like a mile and a half, and a lot of the great food vendors that you find at the fair, like I think the French fry people are there, Turkey to Go.
Yeah, the cheese curds.
Cheese curd. The Dairy Kids are there, Dairy Goodness. Sweet Martha's are there. And then you buy, and I know some of you are going, oh, you got to pay for the food and the $20, executive producer Jeff being one of them. I don't mind that because you still, the fair isn't a piece of property. The fair is people. You got to pay. You got to keep those employees employed. Right. So I don't mind paying $20. I don't.
And if you go with 5 people, I mean, when you think per head, that's really not that much, especially when going to the state fair is a lot more than that normally.
This comes peace and love, Ringo Starr. I'm not being a Judge Judy. I would much rather do this than I don't get the buying of the sleeves of cups from the state fair. I know people are doing it. I love that they're making money. I just don't get... I'm not connected to the State Fair plastic cups.
I didn't even know that there was an annual State Fair plastic cup, and I say this in genuine honesty.
I didn't know
so many times.
I didn't know it until I saw Jason DeRusha buying a cup from the fair, and I was like, "Why?" I didn't know it was people do that. I didn't know people were like you. I didn't know it was an attachment thing.
No, and I knew that you got a cup at the Minnesota State Fair. I didn't realize they were all different or had a year emblem. Like, I don't know.
But congratulations, State Fair. This is a good move. It got a lot of play on Twitter. Let me look at the Twitter machine right now. By the way, I'm fired up. If anyone wants to comment, It's number 2 trending in Minnesota right now. Wow. So we just want a little taste of it.
We do. We just want to let this fair. And I think it's because that Facebook group has gotten so popular.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of food, let's get started, everybody. Time for the hot dish.
Are you making eye contact with me while you scoop?
I don't know. I'm in a weird mood today. Let's get started. TMZ is reporting who will be on the new season of Big Brother. Now, if you remember, this is an all-star cast. These aren't newbies, Kendall. These are all-star. And that includes... that cast includes a Jason Show friend. We're proud. That's right. Janelle has been a contestant on the show 3 times and competed most recently in Amazing Race. There she is on our show a few months ago. She will be joined by season 14 winner Ian Terry, season 19 winner Josh Martinez, and season 12 winner Hayden Moss. The cast is apparently in quarantine as we are doing this show and will remain that way for 2 weeks. You know this, Ted knows this. Ted is our Big Brother correspondent. I have never watched an entire episode of Big Brother. In all, what's there? How many seasons has there been, Ted? What, 22 seasons? I've never watched a full season of Big Brother, and I've never watched a full season of any of the Law and Orders. None of them. Law and Order SVU, Law and Order Boise.
You are missing it.
I've
Law
never
and
seen
Order
any of them.
Boise?
I've never seen any of them. Not a single one of them.
Not any. I've never watched Big Brother either. So
Yeah.
it's good we have Ted.
But wait, I take that back, Ted. I'm surprised you didn't. I did watch the Celebrity Edition.
Oh.
We did cover it for the Jason Show. I did.
Right.
I don't know if that counts, if Ted would count that, but because it's a different edition. But yeah, I've watched that one.
Well,
yeah,
you
Ted's
know,
gonna count it.
Janelle McCrae when he's here, I get the vibes from him, but I don't.
Well, Kendall, that's why you're such a good sidekick, because you teed me up properly for that one. I should go like this for teeing up if I'm going to play golf. But we just booked McCrae. He'll be here tomorrow. Not here. Not here. We're going to Zoom.
Oh.
Not here. Kendall's barely in the room. She's 72 feet away from me. If you take the shot, you'll see we're miles away from each other. Leo, show people. Look how far we are away from each other. You can put Optimus Prime between the two of us right there. But McCrae will be joining us via Zoom tomorrow, so we'll get the skinny from him. Next in the dish, we're living in the middle of a pandemic. I don't need to tell you that. And soon, we'll see it play out on the small screen. Grey's Anatomy will tackle the coronavirus pandemic. The showrunner confirmed the news yesterday, saying there's no way that a long-running medical show could not avoid the medical story of our lifetime. Now, they're still working on the stories for season 17 and have been speaking with doctors who have been on the front lines. Production of the new season has not begun, and the show airs Thursday nights on another network when it eventually returns. Here's the question. She's right. I think the showrunner's a lady. Anyway, they're right. It would be weird for them not to acknowledge it as a hospital show. But let me ask this. Do we want to see it? Right now, more than ever, don't we want escapism? I don't. It's like when American Horror Story did the political season. No. And they did it right after the 2016 election. No, I don't care who you supported. We just lived through it. Right. We're living through the COVID right now. I don't want to watch the COVID.
No.
I'm living it.
No. It's like New Amsterdam. So I watched New Amsterdam, also a medical show, but they had their season finale was about a pandemic before the pandemic started, and they just said, we're not airing it. It's just too close to home right now. That's how I feel too. I'm not trying to watch that right now.
No, we're going through it.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Dramatize it like with our kids. Let them, I'm not going to probably have a kid. And if I do, little Milo can watch that when he's an adult.
Milo?
Yeah, if we do have a kid. I never told you that?
No.
Yeah, if we have a kid, if it's a boy, it'll be Milo. I'm not kidding, Milo Matheson, yeah.
That's so cute. You need to
Milo?
have a kid now.
What?
Now you need to have a son.
Fine, let me go. Can I leave now? No. I'm in a non-kid. You know how the pendulum swings some days? You've known me long enough. I get into a kid mood. I'm right now, the pendulum has swung. I'm in a no-kid mood. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I'll come across a nice one and then
you'll take that Rugrat in and just love on him.
Maybe. Next in the dish, Natalie Maines from The Chicks, got to get used to saying that, was on Howard Stern this week and talked about changing their name, among other things. Listen.
And then when I joined the band, they were like, we're getting a new lead singer, so this could be a good time to change the name. We've always hated our name. And I was like, no. Your name is the one good thing about you. And the flack we always got for our name was for Chicks. It really wasn't ever for Dixie. Dixie made us uncomfortable at a certain point, but we also didn't feel like it was representative of us. We're not from Dixie, the area that was called Dixie, but so I it was just sort of a word. I didn't think about all the history behind it or how the word came to be or how it might make Black people feel.
Right.
Our name wasn't any sort of statement, but changing it was a statement. And we didn't want to make a big deal about it. We didn't do a press release. We just changed all the social medias. We just did it because this moment isn't about us. This moment is about something so much bigger. And
before Natalie joined the band, their original name was Dixie Chickens. That lasted for about the same name of this show during season 1. That lasted for about 2 weeks. She says fans don't need to throw away old T-shirts or records that say the Dixie Chicks. You don't need it. You spend a lot of money.
Right.
Concert T-shirts are very expensive. They're like $75
for a
T-shirt. You'll never wear them again. You'll use them as dish rags in like 7 years.
Yep.
No one ever wears a concert T-shirt more than a year after that concert.
No, unless it's like the Rolling Stones and it's from the
Maybe.
70s. And in that case, you're pretty cool.
This was another, Howard, as I've said many times, and I like Natalie, but I walked out of that interview listening to it, a bigger fan. It happened, Katy Perry was on Howard yesterday, but anyway, with Natalie, so many, have you heard any of the details of this interview that news that made?
A little bit, but.
Let me just go through some of them. So first, Sony is their record label. And haven't we always wondered how much the stars really make off of CDs? You wonder, they don't make a lot. They do not. Touring is where the money is. Natalie confirmed that. So much so where, Jeff, was it after the first album? After the first album, which was a mega hit. Right. I mean, giant. I mean, in any music standard, huge hit. Do you know what Sony gave them as a present? Now, keep in mind, they gave somebody a car. They gave Frasier, the cast of Frasier, the entire cast of Frasier, a car. Sheila, we wouldn't mind that.
No,
but
cool.
They gave the entire cast of Frasier cars that same year.
Yeah. They
sent the Dixie Chicks soap.
Like soap?
Don't you clap for that. Don't you? Yeah. They sent the Dixie Chicks little bitty hand soaps. It's Sony. Like Natalie said, they make TVs. Send them a camcorder. Or
they
something.
Sent them soap?
They sent them soap. How offensive is that? You're a multi-bazillion-dollar company. So Natalie said that publicly, made a joke. They finally sent them like a 50-inch TV. Come on, Sony.
Oh, almost like backhanded too.
It is a mean for it, yeah. And he could have given him a 70-inch, not a 50-inch.
I know, really.
Yeah, that interview's really good. Another thing, she weaves stories of her husband's into the album, but she can't talk about it. Again, alleged. I don't want that dude suing me. But yeah, so if you listen to the lyrics, there's truth probably woven into the lyrics of the new album.
Ooh, because there's stuff about like concerts, there's stuff about pantyhose, there's kind of stuff about everything.
Pantyhose on a boat. Again, the name of my autobiography. That's right. Pantyhose on a boat. Right. Leo and I will never tell that story. It was a weekend. It was director Leo and I. It was just innocent. We watched curling on ESPN 20. Still ahead, the man who spoils reality shows sits down for an interview to talk about how it all started. Plus, we're going to New York to chat with our good friend and entertainment insider. We love her, Elizabeth Wagmeister. What's behind the decision to delay the release of another major blockbuster? She'll tell us. And then, trouble for one of the most popular talk shows on TV. What is going on with Ellen? You've read the stories. Now we are going to discuss it in a staff Zoom meeting. We'll be right back, everyone. Stay with us.
I feel like as an adult, there's not a lot of opportunities to dance, right?
Yeah, I don't really go to clubs.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's old guy at the club. Like, you can't go to the clubs.
I can't go to the clubs anymore, man. Oh, so a wedding is almost like going to the club.
It's like the club for adults.
Yeah, I kind of see where you're doing that, and you're like, hey, this is what they invited me. I got to do what I have to do.
You're almost being a jerk if you don't dance at a wedding.
Weirdly, a John Hamm story. We were at the Emmy party that we had in LA, and he goes, hey, do you want to get this party going? I was like, yeah, let's do it. He goes, all right, come on, let's get on the table. And we stood on a table and started dancing.
And did it set it off?
Yes, it did. Totally set it off. It was unbelievable and unforgettable, and I'll never forget that. He saved the party.
Do you remember what song was playing?
It wasn't anything that amazing. It was almost weird that we were on the table for this song.
Andy Samberg with Fallon last night. Andy's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine with our friend Joel McKinnon Miller, one of the nicest guys in Hollywood. He's a good friend of ours, good supporter of the Jason Show. Hi, Joel. Well, our hotness continues with Variety senior correspondent. It's very fancy. I love saying that title. Please welcome our good friend, Elizabeth Wagmeister. Hi, sweetheart.
Hi, how are you? Greetings from New York.
Greetings. Well, first of all, let me start with this. Happy birthday to you. It's a day late, but happy.
Jason.
What?
I Jason, you always embarrass me, but I love you for it.
I know. But happy birthday. Do you mind? I mean, you put it on social, so, my mom taught me never to ask a woman her age, but it's on social, so I thought it was fair game. This is a milestone year, right?
It is, yes. I'm totally fine with it. I turned 30 earlier this week, and I have to say, I feel really good about it. And I posted this on social, Jason, but it's obviously such a strange time that we're all dealing with right now in the world. But you really recognize what's important, which is really health and family and friends. So in a weird way, it felt kind of good to have a birthday during a pandemic. And I hope that your viewers who've had a birthday during this time feel the same way.
What's funny, I'm getting ready to have one, not a monumental one. I'll be 46, but my birthday's coming up August 5th. So I'm right, So it'll be a much different one.
Happy early birthday.
Thank
and
you.
You look very young.
Thank you.
I'll have your habit.
I appreciate that. I'll take that compliment today. Well, first up, a major blockbuster debut gets delayed. What happened with, because I keep seeing these trailers for Tenet.
Yes, so Tenet is a big action pick that comes from Christopher Nolan. It cost over $200 million to produce, and Jason, that's before marketing. Now, you brought up that you've seen the advertisements, and that's why I bring up marketing, because movie studios, I don't think a lot of people realize they spend tens of millions of dollars just to market the film.
Yeah.
Obviously, now in the age of COVID, movie theaters nationwide are closed. Just a few are open, but in Los Angeles and in New York City, they are shut down, and those are the two biggest movie-going markets. So Tenet, they have had to change their date 3 times, which means when you see a commercial and it says coming on this date, that's not good if it's not coming on that date. It confuses the consumer, obviously. Well, now the news that has just come out, Jason, is Tenet has now been indefinitely delayed. The studio behind it, Warner Brothers, they do say it will come out in 2020, so this year. But I say it's still a moving target because, again, movie theaters are closed. And even if and when they reopen, I'm curious, will people feel safe to sit in a movie theater?
Absolutely. Elizabeth, because you're so well connected and you know this business better than most. I got to ask you, we talked about this on the Jason Show. One of the things I think is going to stick around post-pandemic, because you were talking about budgets and advertising budgets, is the fact that now stars are doing, I just did an interview via Zoom with Judd Apatow in what the business calls junkets. The audience knows what that is now. Don't you think, Elizabeth, that is going to be a money saver that the studios may keep around instead of having everybody fly into a city, having these stars just do Zoom interviews?
You know, it's a great point, and I've been talking to my coworkers at Variety. We discuss all the time, even when it is safe to bring people together.
Yep.
Are these studios going to want to have junkets? Are red carpets still going to happen? Of course, these are all used as promotional tools. You have to market a film, you have to market a TV show. But as we've seen now in our new normal, so to speak, is these things are still being marketed and advertised just from everybody's living room. I mean, we've seen everyone from late night hosts to anchors really break huge global news from their home. So it seems you can do everything from home. Now, I personally hope that eventually when it's safe, we get back to the normalcy of our industry, because what is so fun about our business, as you know, Jason, is that we get to go to screenings and we get to go to premieres. And I think it's also fun for the viewer because they get to kind of see the glitz and glam of Hollywood. You like to see someone on a red carpet rather than in their home. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not.
No, I think, and it's a slice of normalcy and it's escapism too, which I think we're all going to need. Let's end on a piece of good news, and that's for Netflix. They're raking in serious dollars these days.
They are. So Netflix's stock is at an all-time high, and really no surprise here because everybody, where are they? They are home and they are streaming. So before the pandemic, Jason, of course, we all know this, your viewers know this, that streaming was booming. A lot of people in Hollywood were saying, is this the future? Are people still going to want to go to movie theaters? Well, of course, now with coronavirus, it is kind of expedited. All of that was already happening with streaming, but it does appear that streaming is certainly here to stay. Places like Netflix, like Disney Plus. This past week, we had Peacock, which is a new streaming service from Comcast. The streaming wars are at an all-time high. Netflix is still king. You know, it's hard to say this because this pandemic has not been good for anyone, but it has been good for Netflix's business.
Absolutely. She makes our show so much better. You're the best, Elizabeth. Thank you so much.
Love you, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Elizabeth Wagmeister. Follow her on social media. Seriously, it's just like Dax told. If you want great tips, she's wonderful to follow on social media, and look for her in Variety. Next in the dish, it was a truce reality TV watchers never thought would happen. One of Bachelor Nation's biggest stars sat down for an interview with the dude, we've referenced him here on a regular basis. He's the guy that spoils every single season. Nick Viall welcomed Reality Steve on his podcast, The Viall Files, and talked about how Steve became the go-to guy for Bachelor spoils. Watch.
So the first spoiler I got was Jason Mesnick's season in 2009. Someone came to me and said, hey, I know you cover this show. I know you write a recap and you have a fan base. I was just made aware of something that happened on Jace at the end of Jason's filming. And I'm like, really? What? And they said they just did a private taping of After the Final Rose where he dumped Melissa and asked Molly out, and Jason is now seeing Molly. And based on who it came from and how they told me they knew, I was like, okay, this is legit. I know it's true. From that point forward, the next season after Jason was Jillian Harris. I actually didn't have Jillian's ending, but the season after that was Jake Pavelka. And from Jake's on is when it just started becoming this, hey, this is the guy that knows the ending to the show, and people that know things liked to tell me things.
Sure, but I guess I assume. But
So Nick and Steve have had a rocky relationship in the past. Steve admitted he never liked Nick. Come on the podcast. And Nick thinks that Steve doesn't appreciate what goes into making a reality show. In the nearly 2-hour podcast, they smoothed over some of their very important hard feelings. As a fan, I'm conflicted on this one. How do you feel? Do you enjoy spoilers, whether it's Bachelor or not?
I just choose not to look for them or read them. And people who know me that would talk to me about these things know that about me. So it doesn't bother me.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't mind reading them. I think, look, if the guy finds it out, he has a platform, he can do it.
Right.
As a consumer, I have the choice to not read his stuff. I do not. But if I'm curious about an angle, I will go to his website.
Oh yeah.
You know, on this show, I slip up sometimes, but we try not to spoil things. Because again, I'm a guy that really likes things, and I want people to like it too, and I want them to enjoy it the way that I enjoy it. So I'm a little conflicted. I don't like spoilers if I want people to really like something.
To really like it. Like, I know my dad watches every game, everything that he can with sports on TiVo. Like, he records all of it.
Yeah.
And so he goes out of his way. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't listen to the radio then. And if somebody spoils something for him the 2 hours before he gets to watch it,
he's mad.
Watch yourself.
Watch yourself. Next in the dish, the Pride of Sweden.
What?
Is ready. The Pride of Sweden.
It's me, right?
No, you're not from Sweden. The Pride of Sweden is ready for a comeback. One of the country's most iconic bands is set to release new music, but we'll have to wait a while to get it. Here's a clue. ABBA is reportedly set to release not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 new songs. The release date has been delayed because of the pandemic, but the group, having fun over there dancing? But the group is hoping for 2021. ABBA has sold 150 million records worldwide. This is the best news. I mean, it was the first email I woke up to from ABBA superfan, executive producer Jeff. He went to the ABBA museum, didn't you, Jeff? Yes, he did. He went to, because did you know there's a whole ABBA museum?
I'm sure there is.
Yeah. When I think of ABBA, I think of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. And anyone that's seen that movie knows why. I'll just say this, necklace. Still ahead, everybody. I have a new best thing ever, and it may surprise you why a documentary on Disney Plus had me at the edge of my seat. Really, truly, that's right. Right there it is. You'll see why I'm loving this docu-series so much. That and more right after this.
As I feel my power grow, don't you know there's part of me that loves to go into the unknown.
Welcome back. That is a clip from last year's mega hit Frozen 2 with Idina Menzel singing the Oscar-nominated song Into the Unknown. The movie is now the 10th highest grossing film of all time. Welcome back to the show. For families with kids obsessed with the Frozen movies, there's a new docu-series that you are going to love, and I have named it My Latest Best Thing Ever, everyone. It is called Into the Unknown, Making Frozen 2, and it's a new 6-part docuseries on the streaming service Disney+. And it features the cast and filmmakers as they work nonstop. You basically follow the last 11 months of the process. 11 months to finish the movie. Yeah, less than a year before the premiere. You're ticking down. Look.
It's nerve-wracking. I've never animated Elsa before.
The challenge is carrying on what people fell in love with in the first movie.
In animation, you write a script, and then you record it.
Ready?
And then they go back to the drawing board, and it changes dramatically.
Goodbye.
It's probably the toughest time of production is a year out. It's when all the balls are up in the air and the balls start falling.
Truly. And you watch all of them fall to the ground on Into the Unknown, Making Frozen 2. I have seen, you guys know me, if you watch the show, I'm a nerd. Every time there's a Disney DVD of a feature animated motion picture, I watch the documentaries on all of them. Having said that, knowing that, this goes even beyond the special features you found on Aladdin or whatever. You really get into the trenches in the making of process of Frozen 2. And even as a Disney fan like myself, I was shocked. The thing that I keep thinking about is the village that it takes to bring this movie together. And you're thinking, yeah, Jace, I know that. I see the credits. No, what I mean is, let me just give you an example. They do about 7 viewings of the movie in different stages. They will show it to not just the crew working on it, not just those executives, but they pull in directors from Aladdin. They'll pull in directors from Moana. And then after the screening, they go into a room called the Story Trust. They sit at a C-shaped table. Everybody gets to chime in. I think we call it here the silo thing, which I don't understand. But anyway, everybody gets to chime in their opinion of this movie, which I got to tell you shocked me because I thought to myself, I knew that Disney movies are very collaborative, and I think there are benefits to that. But I was shocked at the fact that the script is basically a guideline until that movie hits your movie screen. Songs change. They were changing. There's the songwriting duo, the husband and wife team, the Lopez's. They were changing songs, audience, 7 months before we saw it in theaters. 7 months. A major detail in the movie that I will not spoil, a major plot device was being debated 5 months before it hit theaters. And it was just shocking. The joy, though, is seeing the actors work together. And even this was pre-pandemic. You get to see how the songs are recorded. Kristen Bell is in L.A. Idina Menzel is in another room in L.A. And Jonathan Groff is recording his track from New York. And to bring the technology that they use, oh, there's a picture of the recording session right there. The technology that they use to bring this movie to us, you will be astounded by. One last little thing at the beginning of the clip we showed you. You saw the character Elsa on the ski slope. That's 1 minute of film that one animator is in charge of. And she said something that just bowled me over. She said, when I go to see the movie, I have to pinch my friend because I'm only responsible for 1 minute of the movie. They work months, and these animators work months and months and months and months for 1 minute of film. And it just, I was surprised. I mean, I was shocked at every episode. So even if you're a modest fan of these types of things, this is so well done. One of the best making of for Disney I've ever seen, and I've seen them all. It's called Into the Unknown, Making Frozen 2. Adults will love it, and kids will love it too. And it is my latest best thing ever, everyone. Yeah, that animator, she's in her 20s, and she spent months and months just working on how Elsa runs up the mountain. They didn't like how she ran. She had to go back. They changed how she ran up the mountain. They didn't like that. So then they had her slide up the ice. So when you see that moment, just know that took a village right there. Just that little moment of film. Still ahead, everybody. Everything is not what it seems in the land of Ellen. Why that show is now coming under fire from former staffers. We will discuss as a talk show staff as well. That and more when we come back. Welcome back. I'm looking at the Twitter machine here live. Unpaid researcher Phil Jones, not a fan of the Frozen 2. He's a tough critic, man. And again, we just talked about it yesterday. A very nice woman named Nancy wonders why I don't give Kendall a chair when she stands over there. The answer, I don't like Kendall. Just kidding. She doesn't want a chair. There we go. And happy birthday to Chris O'Connor, too. Happy day. Not so much, though, for Ellen DeGeneres. Comedian and talk show host Ellen has built her show with the motto of be kind. But the sincerity of that phrase is coming under fire after a scathing BuzzFeed article hit last week. In the article, several former and one current staffer came forward accusing upper management of creating a toxic work environment. And they allege a culture dominated by fear, including accusations of racism. Staffers claim they were fired after taking medical leave, attending a family member's funeral, and for posting a GoFundMe page to raise money for health issues not covered by insurance. Ellen's executive producer said in a statement, "We take this very seriously and we need to do better. And we are committed to do better, and we will do better." This obviously hits close to home. We debated whether or not to actually do the story last week. I wanted to make sure I read the whole thing before I came to you, because you know me, I don't, with a show like this, I don't want to hit other folks that have a show like this, because I get that it's sometimes a difficult job, and those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. But we wanted to talk about it because I think this is an important story because it's multi-layered. It's very nuanced. We will barely be able to do it justice in 6 minutes here. But my thought on this is, other than the serious accusations, racism, not allowing some staff members to go to a funeral, my feeling is always, and I've said it a lot, where there's smoke, there's fire. And me personally, we have heard these stories about Ellen not being quite as nice as you want her to be. Now, I will pause and say right here, here's one of those layers. This Ellen not being all warm and fuzzy doesn't actually surprise me. Few comedians are. Comedy is a byproduct of pain. And when you talk, and believe me, we've had a number, Jeff knows, everyone that works here, when you have comedians in person, they are rarely what they are on stage. It is usually an act. They're usually introverts disguised as extroverts. So Ellen not being quote unquote nice doesn't surprise me, nor do I think there's anything wrong with that. So that's one layer of this. So I do think the rumors are true that she's maybe not quite as dancy and happy as she sees on TV. Nobody is. And, you know, I'm not. I mean, I know what's shocking, and here's where the crew's going to start laughing. I'm not pleasant 24 hours a day. Thank you. I was waiting for that. But there is also the other layer of it. What did Ellen know? You know, and as the person with your name on the show, and again, I can relate to this, how much should she be held responsible? You want to think that she should be absolutely held, but here's the reality that we know, and this is why we wanted to bring this to you. A lot of times, executive producers, and our executive producer will actually speak to this in a little bit, they don't always know exactly what's going on. It is a very large operation to bring a show like Ellen to television. There are many departments. There are many things. And usually you just want the host to concentrate on their job, which is to do the actual show and to be entertaining when that red light comes on. So it is realistic as we read these charges, these allegations, it is plausible that two things can coexist. Ellen may not be the nicest sunflower in the garden, but she may not consciously know about a lot of the stuff going on with her staff. Should she take more responsibility? Absolutely. Now that she knows, the old saying, when you know better, you can do better. That's what the executive producer said. I think Ellen probably will feel the same way. We are of the mindset that Ellen is going to have to address this when she comes back for the new season, especially because her mantra is be kind. Well, as I said, our staff, working in the talk show world, is going to debate this topic when we come back. Back after this. And welcome back to the Jason Show. Yes, this is not a rerun. Don't adjust your TVs. We are once again doing a Zoom staff meeting. Yes, we're back into the studio together, but you guys love these, and so did we. So say hello to the staff. There's Kendall, there's Jeff, there's Ted awkwardly waving to whomever. Well, we have a topic for today. Sometimes we play games, sometimes we do show and tell, but today we're going to dish. We're going to dish with the staff, and this is the dishiest of all. The story from BuzzFeed that popped a couple days ago talking about all of the staff members, I shouldn't say all, about 12, 13, 14 staff members from the Ellen DeGeneres show who are accusing the show and Ellen specifically of fostering, creating whatever, a toxic work environment. So I'm going to go round robin first. I just want an answer. Do you think there's something there? Just a yes or no. Kendall?
Yes.
Okay, Ted?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, Jeff, but I'm going to leave it to you because you are, and I'm not joking, you are our leader. You're our executive producer. Why do you think there's something there and not just sour grapes?
Because when there's smoke, there's fire. I think, there's so many instances that there has to be something. I don't think it's to the extreme maybe that a lot of them make it sound like. I just feel like there has to be something going on if they actually responded to the article as well and said that they have to work on things.
Okay. Now, I was saying this earlier, this is such a nuanced conversation. There's so many layers to this. Because one of the layers I think we should identify is, would we be saying this of Ellen if she was a male host leading a show? For example, David Letterman historically, just recently, there was an article, I believe, in Rolling Stone, a former writer, a woman, came out and said it wasn't a great environment for women on Dave's show. Dave owned it, whatever. Kendall, would we be critiquing Ellen this way if it was a male host? What do you think on that?
I don't know if it has as much to do with her sex as the fact that she's always preaching about being kind. That seems to really be the theme, is that people are like, listen, it might not directly go to you, Ellen, or your level of you personally, but it's your place with your company name, and it's not a good working environment. So it might have an undertone of sexism. There usually is when it comes to powerful women, we all know, just to be flat honest. But I think it's more that be kind push. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Now, let me pose this one to Jeff and Ted, and this is a joke wrapped up into a real question. Are we expecting too much, even though her name is on the show, for her to be in the loop on everything? Is it fair to maybe ask the question, does she not know that some lower level staff members are unhappy? Ted?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it falls to the executive producers who run the day-to-day operation. I would say those ones are in charge of the culture. Those are the ones who, might be making comments or firing people who've gone on leave or whatever. So I wouldn't necessarily say that she's intricately involved in the overall day-to-day mood. Because she is overseeing everything, so she should know about it.
Oh, because Ted, you and I really only speak about 3 or 4 times a year, right?
Exactly.
That's all I allow these days.
That's right. Well, Jeff,
so I think it's the executive producer and producer's job. You don't tell the host everything because they don't need to know all of the nitty-gritty of everything. They need to know things that make the show what it is. But I do think Ellen is also one of the producers of the show, is she not? Or creator?
She is. She's in it, yes.
So that, I mean, that goes into that as well. She should be doing more of the overseeing of everything.
Before I pose this last question, Jeff, how much time do we have? I don't want to run out of time.
About 45 seconds.
Okay, let me pose I told you layered. I'll end it with this. Is there a possibility that maybe one or two of these just don't? The entertainment industry is tough. Is there a level? Could there be a possibility that some of these staffers just want everything kind of spoon fed to them? Jeff, you're of my generation too. What do you think on that?
I think there's part of that. I mean, there might be some of that, but I think some of the claims that these people make are pretty legit.
Absolutely. And there's a difference between being tough and a possible, horrendous behavior, sexism, all that stuff, sexual harassment. Kendall, what do you think? I'll give you the last word.
I think what we all have agreed on is when there's a little bit of smoke, that there's always a fire. However, at the end of the day, this is maybe 12 people out of 1,000 that they've had work there. So although you don't want to undermine they're maybe disgruntled or maybe they had a bad experience, you're not saying that that's not true. However, I don't think it's blown up a lot because we have nothing to talk about right now.
Yeah. And Ted, mark this down. This is this is the 5th conversation this year, and this will be it, okay?
Okay.
Got it. We're going to take a break, everyone, way off on this subject on our social media. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. A lot of you weighing in on Ellen on our social media. Thank you very much. Keep those comments coming in. And speaking of social media, you can stay connected with us on social media. If you haven't found us yet, please search for us. I sound like Oliver asking for more porridge. Please, sir, can I have another? Just search for Jason Show TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In lieu of a studio audience for the time being, we want to stay connected with you via social media. That's why I have the computer pulled up during the show. So if you have something to say, go ahead and send it. And who knows, it could end up right here. We're going to take a break and we'll wrap things up with Kendall, Miss Anniversary herself, when we come back. Back in a moment. Beautiful shot by Adam there on our fancy jib camera. Welcome back to the show, wrapping things up. There she is celebrating her 3rd anniversary. Do you know what it's Kendall. Do you know what the 3rd anniversary traditional gift is?
Leather.
So did you, go ahead, don't worry, he's not watching. Did you get him anything leather?
We're so old. We're buying each other Birkenstocks.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
I know, but they're so comfy. I have bad knees. They're so comfy.
Oh, no, Judge Judy here. That was just, out of all the things I expected you to say,
no,
I didn't expect you to say, I'm getting Birkenstocks.
Jesus, sandals. That's what we're doing.
That's nice.
I know, hey.
Yeah, I love that. Leather's a good one.
Leather's good.
How's the 3 years been? Have you,
I think great. I mean, honestly, it's very weird that it's been 3 years.
I know.
Your wedding is such a huge thing. I don't know if it's like that for men.
Yeah,
it is for
it was for us.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a huge thing that it's like, gosh, 3 years later, and it just felt like yesterday,
Yeah, year 3 was great. Year 2 was horrible for us. Oh, year 2. The first year was wonderful. Yeah. And then year 2 was just awful. It really was. We were big. I mean, and Colin's laughing right now. I don't know what it was. We were like,
what are you guys at now?
We are at 8 years together. And we are 6 years married.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and in gay years, that's 27. So that's right. You just it's a long.
It's a long time, girl.
Hold on. I got to check the headquarters math on that. I think I added that right. I think I added, subtracted. Oh, that's right. Oh, by the way, I have a headquarters meeting tomorrow. I got to go in there. That's right. Okay, talk about gay agenda. There we go. Okay, I'll do that later. But no, I think it's, 8 years together, which is crazy to think about.
Right? Isn't it just seems so
I had a whole
weird?
other job when we met. I worked at the Buzz. I worked in the other studio.
Oh, yeah. You're a whole door away.
Yeah. Then I left when they caught me stealing office equipment. So
I bet Keith planted it on you.
he did. Darn that, Keith. Tomorrow on the show, the person behind the Plant Penthouse blog will join us to give us some interior design tips using plants. Plus, McCrae from Big Brothers coming back to talk about the new season of Big Brother. That's going to do it for us. Again, happy anniversary to Kendall. Thanks to all of you for watching. If you're being bullied, go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Have a good day.